पूर्व न्यायाधीश मुख्य न्यायाधीश श्री सुभाषन रेड्डी जी, सम्मानीय पूर्व सीबीआई डायरेक्टर श्री विजय रामराव जी, श्री प्रताप रेड्डी जी, चेयरमैन अपोलो हॉस्पिटल्स, श्री एपी कशकेडिकर जी, सेक्रेटरी of the Confederation, Sri D.N. Chapke, President of the Confederation, Sri R.N. Mittal, Chairman, Association of Senior Citizens of Hyderabad, who has been given this Lifetime Achievement Award, who was instrumental in taking initiative to organize this conference in Hyderabad, Sri I.M. Bhalla, Co-Chairman, Association of Senior Citizens of Hyderabad, who was also instrumental in making this conference a reality, Sri T. Hanumantarao, Association of Senior Citizens of Hyderabad, Dr. S.P. Kinjavadekar, President, who is being awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award today, the other dignitaries on the dais, and also the eminent people who have been felicitated, and the delegates who have come from different parts of India and also from our friendly country, Nepal. Dear elders, sisters and brothers, friends, सचमुच में मेरा मन में मैं सचमुच में बहुत प्रसन्न हूं और थोड़ा भावुक भी। कारण क्या है, इस देश में सभी वरिष्ठ नागरिक बंधु एक जगह पे एकत्रित होना, अपना समस्याओं के बारे में चर्चा करना, और इसके लिए आप लोगों ने ये दुनिया में प्रतिष्ठित शहर भाग्यनगरी हैदराबाद को आप लोगों ने चुना है। इसके लिए भी आप लोगों को सबको मेरा ओर से अभिनंदन है। When I look at all these people, I am reminded of my own grandparents, my grandmother, grandfather, who has really taken care of me because I lost my mother when I was 1 year, 3 months old. And my grandmother really brought me up. The interest, the affection, the care she has taken about me because I am motherless. And also my grandfather, who has given me the basic life education at an early age. I remember both of them today after seeing many of you present here in this conference. Let me at the outset thank you for the immense contribution towards building this country and taking it to present stature. आप लोग जिम्मेदार है देश को आगे बढ़ाने में, भारत को ये स्थिति में लाने के लिए आप सब लोगों का योगदान है। इसलिए मैं सबको अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं, नमस्कार करना चाहता हूं। I am also happy that the people from Hyderabad, these industries, whether it is GMR, whether it is Life Insurance Corporation of India, or whether it is HealthPage India, or Village-On, or the Natco Pharmaceutical, or Godrej Company, all other people who are all responsible for giving a helping hand to this important conference to be organized here in Hyderabad. Sri Tripta and Ramesh Swani, Mrs. Sarala Mittalji, and other people. The Classic Garden people also have been kind enough to liberally sponsor this. Because you are not earning anything now, but you have already earned one thing, that is the name and fame in the society. Because India, once upon a time, was known as Vishwaguru. Students from abroad, from the world, they used to come and study in Nalanda, Takshashila, Pushpagiri and other places. Even foreign historians like Yuan Song and Pahian came from China. They wrote about India's greatness. This land, this air, this water has got something special in this. That's why it has produced great people. Even Aryabhatta, Bhaskaracharya, or Varaha Mihira, or Dhanvantari, or Susruta, or Charaka, all these great people were born here much before the other countries could recognize the merit of their own people. That is the great land. And today, India, because of invasion by the foreigners, we got ruined. And I always say, India, because we have so much wealth, but our wealth has been robbed. We have been put under colonial rule, and we have lost our conscience, we have lost our wealth, and much of it has been robbed by others. India, with all its richness, with being world guru, Vishwa Guru, never attacked any country. That is the Bharatiya Parampara. शक्तिमान देश होने के बाद भी भारत किसी देश के ऊपर हमला किया नहीं. बिकॉज हम लोग विश्वास करते वसुधैक कुटुंबकम. द एंटायर वर्ल्ड इज वन फैमिली. सर्वे जना सुखिनो भवन्तु. That is the philosophy of India. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy or Hindu philosophy, whatever you call it. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. And you people, the senior citizens of the country, our elders and our forefathers, they have given us that culture and that heritage, that tradition and all. It is the duty of the present day society, present day leadership to keep it up and then promote it and encourage it and pass it on to the future generation. This is my advice to the leadership of the country and also people who are at helm of affairs in various fields, including our own family members. Secondly, you are truly valuable and important to India and its future. Your wealth of experience will continue giving us wisdom and direction. I am happy to know that All India Senior Citizens Confederation, with a membership of approximately 20 lakhs in various states and union territories in the country, is the largest national level organization of senior citizens of India. I am told it devotes itself to networking, advocacy, and research on the issues concerning welfare and development of our senior citizens, and works with the governments and civil society organizations engaged in similar activities. It is noteworthy that association also provides service activities including health care. It is heartening to know that both the ISKCON and its state-level federations work with the state governments in the country to take up measures for the welfare of senior citizens. We always talk about the tremendous opportunity lies in our demography. We usually focus on youth, but enough attention is also needed to be paid to the elderly age group also. Currently, there are an estimated 10.5 crore elderly in India, and by 2050, it would reach 32.4 crore. Out of 10.5 crore elders, 80 lakhs are the oldest, that is 80 plus. Their number is increasing at the fastest rate, and they are the most vulnerable. Worldwide, by 2050, every fifth person you see will be an elder person. Everyone will become elder, even the youngsters. Not only me, even the youngsters also, they will become elder. That's why I tell the younger generation, don't call anybody as old, because you will also become old. And I said, old is gold. They said, sir, then what to do? I said, call them elderly. My daughter wanted to set up a care home in Nellore. I said, I am dead set against old age homes. She said, what to do? So at the end of it, then I told her, I compromised because there is a reality, there is a change of attitude and behavior in the society. So I said, call it as elders' home. తెలుగులో పెద్దల ఆశ్రమం అని చెప్పమ్మా, అంతేగాని ఈ ముసలివాళ్ల కోసం పెట్టిన ఆశ్రమం అని చెప్పి రాయద్దు. ఎందుకంటే ప్రతి ఒక్కరూ ముసలివాళ్ళు అవుతారు. ప్రకృతి ధర్మం. This is the nature. This is the nature that everybody will become old one day. So, my dear friends, worldwide by 2050, every fifth person you see will be an elder person. There will be 64 countries, including India, where 30% of the population will be 60 plus. Though India traditionally enjoyed a robust joint family system, which took great care of the elderly, the fast-changing socio-economic conditions has led to its complete disintegration. India's strength was family system. India's strength was joint family system. The love, the affection, the fraternity, the liking for each other, the share, the care they used to show for each other is immense in joint family system. Really hats off to Indian joint family system. We should all really... That is the way forward for the unity of the world, unity of the country also. If you want country to be united, you must see to it first families are united. But the reality is because of education, because of employment, because of opportunities outside, because of marriage, people are moving out. They are now, the slowly disintegration of the joint family is happening. It's a reality. And also because of the trend where people do not have that much patience as it used to be earlier, taking care of mother-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and also taking care of grandfather, grandmother is our sacred duty. That is the family system, that is the culture of India. But slowly, as I told you, the joint family system is withering away. There are some reasons, as I told you, education, employment, and economic opportunities outside. These are valid reasons for. But at the same time, there are other reasons, as I told you, slowly the values, the traditions are being given go by because of the culture from outside influencing our mind. I will tell you an interesting story. Some time back, when still India we have the family system strong, I went my first visit to America along my wife. So there we were traveling around. One day, the family which was hosting us, they took us out. While going to some areas, there was a row houses, all illuminated. And then my host told us, I asked them, what is this? They said, this is a Parents' Day today. My wife said, Parents' Day? वो क्या होता है? Parents' Day. Parents' Day के लिए एक दिन क्या है? Parent हमेशा होता है. Parent होता है एक दिन के लिए Parent Day. और फिर ये लाइटिंग क्या है? तो यहाँ पेरेंट्स रहते हैं. तो my wife said, parents यहाँ रहते हैं. फिर बच्चे कहाँ रहते हैं? Children. She's so innocent. She's from village and was brought up in a giant family. So then those people said, no, here after an age, parents are put in old age home. And once in a year on Parents' Day, the children come here and still they will get them some sweet cake and other things and wish them they are still alive, very good, happy. ऐसा कहके. My wife, poor lady, could not take food for 2 days after hearing this. At that time. Now slowly she is realizing, seeing what is happening in the country. She was asking, parents and children do not live at one place. You see, it is America. There are working people. After 18 years, parents are separate and children are separate. That's the system here. Slowly this tendency also is coming to our country also, which is not good. But there is an inherent social security in our joint family system. The children of the family develop deep ties with their grandparents and often turn to them for guidance and solace in troubled times. The elderly in turn knew no dearth of love and companionship. There was a kind of symbiosis that held joint families together in comfort and security. With the emergence of nuclear families, where the husband and wife work and where there are frequent pressing financial crises, the elderly are getting increasingly neglected, adversely affecting their care and dignity. Whenever the family system, wherever, fails in its duty to protect the elderly, the community, the civil society, and the governments have to step in to fill the vacuum. That is the reality, and we have to accept the reality, and also it is the duty of, if the family is not able to spend together, then it is the duty of the civil society and also the community at large and also the governments, they have to step in to fill the vacuum. In spite of Maintenance and Welfare Parents and Senior Citizens Act of 2007, the number of cases of children abandoning their elderly parents is on the rise, unfortunately. Apart from abandonment, the elderly also face neglect, sometimes abuse, physical, verbal, and emotional, and other forms of violence also. This is an abhorrent and completely unacceptable trend. It has to be reversed. When we as a society fail to meet the needs of our senior community, we are only creating a dreadful preface to our own inevitable destiny. More than 70% of our elders reside in rural areas. The rising rural population of senior citizens due to large-scale migration of younger generation to urban areas or other countries in search of jobs has aggravated the problem faced by the rural elderly. They are facing deprivation, discrimination, dispossession, and loneliness, and sometimes even abuse also. Out of the total population of the elders, 70%, that is around 8 crore people, are below poverty line. The pension they receive from the government is highly inadequate, even though with the recent direct benefit transfer, the situation has improved greatly. We still have to go a long way. Our country spends just 0.032% of the GDP on the welfare of the elderly, while most of other countries, even smaller and with weaker economies, spend 3 to 8 times more on elders. Moving towards a reasonable universal pension for all is an inevitable step. I was telling Vijay Ramarao, in India, our tendency is to go for populism. What is required is realism. The populism will not make the country prosperous. You must make the people to understand the need to use their skills and work. There is a saying in English, you don't give a fish, but teach him how to catch a fish. But our politicians, mostly, they try to give fish at the time of election also. Only. Afterwards, forget. See, after 71 years of independence, still there are problems to our country. 20% are below poverty line. 21% are illiterates. And still there is some gender discrimination between men and women. And still some social discrimination. They are the challenges. These challenges have to be fought together. This social discrimination has no sanction in Vedas, in Upanishads. Who is an upper caste, who is a lower caste, who said this? God has not said this. Devi Devatas have not said it. It is an artificial creation. That has to be ended. Secondly, with regard to women also, sometimes women, they are not getting their due. Slowly change is coming, but the change must be faster. There are atrocities against women also. And some people say, ये हमारा पद्धति है सर, महिला घर में बैठना. किसने कहा भाई, कहां लिखा है महिला घर में बैठना? गार्गेयी, मैत्रेयी, वो विदुषी होते थे उस समय, scholars, they used to come and argue in public those days, in Puranic days. And you believe in Puranas also. If you believe in Purana, go through Puranas, all Devi, Devatas and all. Saraswati Devi, in charge of education, Shiksha Mantri. Parvati Devi, Raksha Mantri, defense. अभी भी रक्षा मंत्री एक महिला है. Lakshmi Devi, finance minister. That was the importance given in Puranas to our women. And now we are thinking, more power diya to kya hoga? Not only that, this country, this tradition is Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Mahanadi, Narmada, Tapati, Mahendra Tanaya. All the rivers are named after women. That is the respect. And also we call this country as motherland, not father's land. I am not trying to create mother-father problem here. But I want the woman also should be given equal importance. Because there is a man in every woman. W-O-M-A-N. We should remember that, and woman should... No, किसी ने मुझे कहा ना सर, नायडू साहब आप ऐसा कह रहे हैं, मगर महिलाओं को राजनीति में अब आरक्षण दिए तो क्या होगा? मैंने पूछा क्या होगा? उन्होंने कहा अब देखिए, आप उत्तर प्रदेश का उदाहरण दिया, कुछ इलाके में जाके देखिए। मैंने कहा क्या हो? नहीं, वहां आप सरपंच देखो, सरपंच के कुर्सी में सरपंच का पति आके बैठ रहे, सरपंच पति। मैंने कहा शुरुआत में ऐसी होगा, थोड़े दिन होने दीजिए, वो अनुभव पाएगा, बाद में आपको देखने में मिलेगा सरपंच पति का गति क्या होगा, आपको समझ में आएगा। The change is natural. You must first educate them. You must give them empowerment, and then you must give them an opportunity. They will also excel. So it's an insult to our society if you discriminate against women, and if you neglect our elders also. Our tradition, our culture, our heritage is that we always used to take care of elders. We used to respect elders also. Now only political elders are respected, not others. You go and touch their feet because he can give you ticket also. That was the original one, Charana Sparsha or Padabhi Vandan, which was told to us by our forefathers, is to show respect to the seniors, to their wisdom, to their knowledge. That was the tradition of our country. So keeping that in mind, we must go back to our traditions and heritage and culture and preserve it, and then we must take care of, this is my appeal to the younger generation, take care of your parents, because your children will take care of you when you become a parent. And you take care of your grandfather, grandmother, your children will take care of you when you become a grandmother and grandfather. Simple. This is very simple. Everybody should be told, you will also become grandmother, grandfather one day. So this is the system that has been followed for ages together. We must do it in our own way. It is of paramount importance that we provide the much needed physical, financial and societal security and dignity to our elderly. The National Policy for Older Persons, which was announced in 1999, seeks to assure elder persons that their concerns are national concerns and they will not live unprotected, ignored and marginalized lives. This is a policy adopted during the period of late Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee in 1999. The goal of the national policy is the well-being of elder persons. This policy has to be implemented by all state governments in letter and spirit. That is the need of the hour. My dear sisters and brothers and elders, implementation of various welfare measures for senior citizens cannot wait. We must focus on affordable health care, insurance, personal security, prevention of abuse, establishment of multi-purpose daycare centers, setting up of homes for the elderly, geriatric wards in hospitals, and construction of shelters for the abandoned. Article 41 of the Directive Principles of State Policy says, the state shall, within the limits of the economic capacity and development, make effective provision for social security for the elderly, right to public assistance in case of old age. We must give meaning to this policy intent. Senior citizens are easy targets for criminals, cheaters, and looters sometimes. Our law enforcement agencies and justice system must be sensitized to the plight of elderly so that they can take prompt, effective action. There is a need to implement the Maintenance and Welfare Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007 more effectively. The Act was enacted a decade ago and it needs to be reviewed to reflect the present day social realities. The social situation is fast, scenario is fast changing. There is also a need to expand geriatric healthcare facilities in our hospitals. Our cities and facilities within them should be accessible to the elderly. Senior citizens have the right to barrier-free public places. They have the right to safe and quiet spaces for peer group and intergenerational dialogue. They deserve to participate actively in senior citizens associations and resident welfare associations. To mitigate the problems of the senior citizens, one should look up to the government alone, should not look up to the government alone. Senior citizens associations, federations like ISKCON, NGOs, all retirement-related agencies like retirement communities, elder care homes, self-help groups, and lastly, corporate houses should join to support seniors' cause. It is sufficient awareness is created among the companies to expand their CSR activity towards elders issues. Quite a lot can be achieved in short time. To keep seniors active and engaged, sufficient opportunities to work beyond retirement and to volunteer must be made available. This is a sure way of ensuring productive and active aging among seniors. Dear sisters and brothers and elders, the Government of India has launched several welfare schemes for providing comprehensive health care and economic independence of the senior citizens. A health care scheme, namely National Program for the Health Care of the Elderly, to address the Ayushman Bhava, the various health-related problems. The two national centers of aging are also being set up at Chennai and New Delhi. In addition, regional geriatric centers are also being established. Varishta Pension Bhima Yojana, a pension scheme for the elderly, is being implemented by LIC India since 1917. Under this scheme, an assured income of 8% per annum is given to the senior citizens for 10 years along with life insurance cover. A senior citizen welfare fund has been established in the year 2016 by pooling together unclaimed amounts remaining in the inoperative accounts under the post offices, saving banks, provident funds, insurance companies, etc. The interest accrued on such unclaimed deposits would be utilized for schemes promoting the welfare of senior citizens. The Department of Social Justice and Empowerment has launched a scheme, namely Rashtriya Vayosri Yojana 2017, for free distribution of physical aids and assisted living devices to senior citizens belonging to the BPL category. So far, more than 53,000 senior citizens have been benefited under the Yojana. Recently, I also had the privilege of presenting a Vayosri Samman to senior citizens for their outstanding achievements to their respective fields relevant to senior citizens and to the society as a whole. Why this Samman? Samman क्यों किया आज हम लोग? डॉक्टर प्रताप रेड्डी को सम्मान किया हमने. We felicitate him. Felicitation is to give inspiration to others. Work like Pratap Reddy, you will also be felicitated. That is the inspiration we want to give to the people. ये आपको आप ये सम्मान करने से, मेमेंटो देने से, नहीं तो शॉल बैठने से उनको कुछ मिलने वाला नहीं है. बाकी लोगों को भी हमने जो महिला 100 साल के ऊपर अभी हमारा सामने आए तो उनको हमने सम्मान किया. लोगों को, बाकी लोगों को भी उनसे प्रेरणा मिले. That is the idea of felicitation, is to give inspiration to others to follow the elders. We are a civilization that always been proud of the way we treat our elderly. We have always given the most esteemed and respectable positions in the society to our elders. Manusmriti, one of our ancient texts, has this statement, a quote: if one serves the elderly with devotion, he or she is blessed with long life, sound education, fame and strength. Unquote. We should take inspiration from these enabling thoughts from the past and shape the present day care facilities for the elderly. The government also from time to time understand the developing problems and try to address them on the priority. Central government, state government and also local bodies, and see to it that whatever benefit needs to come to the people, that should reach people directly. You know what is happening in our country, a massive transformation is happening. Prime Minister has given a call for 3-line advice. He said reform, perform and transform. Transform the entire system. Transformation for the betterment of the life of the people. That is the purpose. So that's why the DBT, direct benefit transfer, the JAM, Janadhana, Aadhaar, mobile, all this. Why? Slowly we must see to it that there is no need for anybody to go and meet anybody, greet anybody, shake hand, do something in between hand. ऐसा कोई जरूरत नहीं होना चाहिए. Otherwise, even to get old age pension, elderly people has to go, wait there in the queue, and then meet that person, greet that person, and also shake hand and do something else also. इसलिए प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. DBT, डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर, जाम, जनधना बैंक अकाउंट, आधार एंड देन मोबाइल. सीधा पैसा जो स्कॉलरशिप, जो पेंशन, जो कॉम्पेंसेशन, जो इंश्योरेंस है, वो सीधा लोगों का अकाउंट में पहुंचे, इसका व्यवस्था भी चल रहा है. कुछ लोग इसको विरोध कर रहे हैं. कारण क्या है? जो बीच में लोग खा रहे थे उनको नुकसान हो रहे, तो इसलिए वो लोग विरोध भी कर रहे हैं. अदरवाइज कोई मतलब नहीं है. आपका पैसा जो आपका हक है, वो आपका पैसा आपका जेब में पहुंचना, आपका अकाउंट में पहुंचना चाहिए. यही पर्पज से प्रधानमंत्री बहुत कंसर्न है. और साथ ही साथ उन्होंने एक छोटी सी परिवर्तन लाया. पेंशन के लिए भी लोग हर एक साल सर्टिफिकेट देना, आई एम स्टिल अलाइव. somebody has to say you are alive, that's why you are applying, na? Otherwise how can you apply and then say then I don't get a reply? So Prime Minister ne kaha self certification is sufficient. Self certification is sufficient, no need to go to anybody. and again meet, greet, shake hands and do something in between hands. Slowly changes are coming, but these changes must happen faster because the civilizational changes, as I told you, are also happening and making it difficult for elderly people to have a comfortable, honorable, durable life. So keeping that in mind, government should be more proactive. Once the economy improves, my friends, I can tell you elders, with all respect, India is on the move. Recently I have been to America, I have been to Paris, I have been to Europe, I have been to Africa, I have been to Latin America, to Guatemala, to Peru and to Panama and all. Everywhere there is so much interest about India. The moment you say India, people are looking very positively, very appreciatively. And they're also very happy about the India's economic growth. You might have seen recently reports, World Bank, World Economic Forum, ADB, Asian Development Bank, IMF, International Monetary Fund, Moody's ratings. Not Modi's ratings, Moody's ratings. Everybody has confirmed India, if it moves faster like this, it will become the third largest economy in the world. When we become third largest economy or when we improve our position, we will be able to take care of our society in a better manner. And the priority should be taken care to see that the elderly people, senior people, helpless people who are economically not strong, who do not have anything to depend, they should be taken care. And social security should be made mandatory. Once the economy improves, it should be made mandatory. Some people quote the example of America or the Western countries, their economy and our economy are different. But we must also aim at the social security. I am more in favor of social security than giving freebies. You people say, na, loan waiver, free current. Current free आता है क्या? मुफ्त में current आता है क्या? Current उत्पादन करने के लिए पैसा चाहिए ना? But people say free current. Free current माने पहले low current. बाद में no current. No current is free current only. Current ही नहीं है तो, बिजली नहीं है तो बिल कहां से आएगा आपको? अगर ये चलता रहता है ऐसा, चलता रहता है ऐसी. लोग, people want assured power. People want quality power. People want 24/7 power. But in the name of free power, they'll give 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Then forget it. After 71 years, we must create durable assets. We must make people to stand on their own. That's why the government is encouraging us this skill development. There are skills among our people. Every section of the society has got some skill. Even the potterer, the goldsmith, the blacksmith, the weaver, the fisherman, the washerman, everybody has got some skill. What is required is to upgrade the skill and then promote the skill and encourage the skill by giving them loan, timely credit to those people. That is the way to take the country forward. And the duty of the government is to take care of the road network, electricity supply, water supply, health, education. These are the 5 areas the government should spend more. Other areas, there is now private sector also is allowed. And the government has no business to do business and then say, sir, I have run Ashoka Hotel and I sold biryani. I am incurring loss and tax people. This model has become outdated. It is not productivity at all. We need to encourage private participation also. Who are private people? Our own people. And we must also take the advice of our elders because they can give you their experience. And then mold policies from time to time. My dear friends, I am sure in the coming days, the government will definitely come forward with much more social security measures as the economy is improving. We are moving towards 7.5, 7.6, 8%. Once you cross 8% growth, you can be assured. And the growth also should be inclusive. Every section of the society must feel that they also have something in this society. Fruits of development also reaching them. इसलिए महात्मा गांधी ने कहा जो अंतिम पंक्ति में बैठे उनका उत्थान पहले होना चाहिए. अंतिम पंक्ति में माने यहाँ इसमें नहीं, समाज में. It's called as Antyodaya. Pandit Deendayal Upadhyaya, Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda, all the great people said, अंत में जो बैठे उनका उत्थान पहले होना चाहिए. The poorest people, the suppressed, depressed, oppressed people, they have to be taken care. That's what our forefathers also told us. So keeping that in mind, One is we must strengthen the family system. And the younger generation must think that it is a duty to take care of their parents and grandparents. I go to universities, number of universities, and I go and address them. I give them 3-line advice, simple. Some of the students, after studies, they want to go abroad. There is no need to go abroad now. India, everything is available. But still, if they want to go, I tell them, okay, you want to go now? Go. Learn, earn, and return. Come back. वहां जाके अमेरिका जाके कुछ लोग क्या करते हैं वहां उनका बिल्डिंग उनका कार कैसा है वो सब फोटो निकाल के यहाँ ग्रैंड मदर को और ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स को भेजते देखिए दिस इज लाइक वेयरिंग ए सूट बूट हैट इन ए बाथरूम एंड देन सीइंग इन ए मिरर अच्छा हो यू आर देयर इन अमेरिका यू आर सेंडिंग फोटोज उससे क्या मिलने वाले हैं लोगों को आप वापस आए टेक केयर ऑफ योर फैमिली टेक केयर ऑफ द पीपल हु लेड फाउंडेशन फॉर अ फ्यूचर who has taken care of you. It is the duty of the younger generation to come back. Unfortunately, we have all facilities now. You have highways, you have teleconnectivity, air connectivity, rail connectivity, teleconnectivity. पहले हमारे देश में एक ही चैनल होते थे टीवी वन चैनल दूरदर्शन दूर से दर्शन करना ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट देखना Now we have more than 1,000 channels. How many TVs? काउंट करना भी बहुत मुश्किल है काउंट करना भी बहुत मुश्किल है मेकिंग न्यूज ब्रेकिंग न्यूज गुड न्यूज बैड न्यूज नहीं तो खुद उनका न्यूज आज तक कल तक सीधी बात उल्टी बात कितना बात है याद रखना भी मुश्किल है इतना टीवी चैनल्स आया यू हैव मोर देन 103 crore टेलीफोन कनेक्शंस नाउ सेल फोन्स and you have national highway 4-line 6-line also is coming now inland water also is being started transport also you have rural roads also you have smart cities coming up you have massive other development activities coming up. So opportunities are there in India. People need not go out. But still if you want to go out also, and even earlier patients, politicians used to go to America, other places for bypass surgery. Now patients from other countries are coming to India, to Hyderabad, to Bangalore, to Chennai, to Delhi. Because the knowledge is available. Earlier knowledge was there, infrastructure was not there. Infrastructure is created. That's why people are coming here. See, some of you, आप में से जो लोग 15 साल 20 साल के पहले हैदराबाद आए उस समय क्या अनुभव था अभी आप लोग हैदराबाद आया एक बार ऐसा एक राउंड मार के देखिए हैदराबाद कितना डेवलप हो गया देश बदल रहे देश आगे बढ़ रहे और साथ ही साथ देशवासी हमारा पद्धति हमारा परंपरा को याद रख के अपना सभी परिवार को भी सुख जीवन दिलाने के लिए प्रयास करना चाहिए ये मानसिक परिवर्तन आना चाहिए ये कानून से नहीं होगा मानसिक परिवर्तन माइंडसेट में परिवर्तन होना चाहिए protecting, taking care of our elders, respecting our elders. That should be the agenda before the younger generation. And secondly, and the family fails wherever, the society must step in. In the village, nobody used to be allowed to suffer without food. The community used to take care. We must go back to that system. And third, now that we have a democracy, elected government, it is the duty of the government also to take care of the senior citizens and their problems and their concerns. I hope that government at Delhi, government in different states, they will all give top priority to the senior citizens and then address their problems. Whatever discussions you have, whatever recommendations you make, I will be receiving a copy of your recommendations. I myself, as the Vice President of India, I will definitely follow it up with the government and convey it to the Prime Minister also and President also. And also by chance, I am also chairman of the Elders House. Elders. Upper House. Upper House, not the other upper house. That house, chairman is somebody else. I am the chairman of the upper house. So I will also see that a proper discussion take place in upper house also about the senior citizens problems. मैं हृदय से ये ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं उन लोगों ने मुझे बुलाया और सम्मान किया और इतना काफी संख्या में देश भर से आप लोग आए इसके लिए आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद చాలా సంతోషము నన్ను ఈ రోజు ఈ మంచి కార్యక్రమానికి ఆహ్వానించినందుకు స్థానిక నిర్వాహకులందరికీ నేను హృదయపూర్వకంగా ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను నేను భారత ఉపరాష్ట్రపతిగా రాజ్యసభ అధ్యక్షుడిగా పెద్దల సభ అధ్యక్షుడిగా మీ సమస్యలపైన పార్లమెంట్లో తగిన చర్చకు అవకాశం ఇస్తానని ప్రోత్సహిస్తానని, మీరు చేసే సిఫార్సులన్నీ ప్రభుత్వానికి చేరవేసేందుకు నా వంతు ప్రయత్నం కూడా నేను చేస్తానని చెప్పి మీ అందరికీ మనవి చేస్తున్నా. యు ఆర్ ఆల్ అవేర్, నౌ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఇన్ పాలిటిక్స్. I don't belong to any party. I am retired from politics but not tired from public life. I am still active. So whatever is possible from my side, I will definitely do it. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.